5 minutes of questioning.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Mr. Witherspoon, thank you again for being here. I think one of the benefits of hearings like this is to help bring more information to us in Washington, D.C., and to those that may not be familiar with the context on the ground. And I was born in San Juan County and grew up partly in Farmington, New Mexico, and so and my mother worked for the Navajo Nation for a while, and drove and helped. She worked for Services for the Blind and helped people in very rural communities go shopping and things like that. And I think that one thing is really difficult for people who are not familiar with places like the rural areas and communities of the Navajo Nation is to understand that in the United States in the year 2025, there are communities across the largest tribal nation in the United States, 27,000 square miles. It's the size of Massachusetts, Vermont, and New Hampshire combined that still do not have electricity and running water. And that there are thousands of families, as you said, Mr. Witherspoon, that don't have piped water into their homes and they have to haul water. And I wonder if you could share for us here today, because I think it'd be helpful for people to understand what that looks like. What does it look like to have to haul water?
Thank you for the question. I've been able to do a number of presentations with my colleague at our chapters as well as at a number of college institutions. And one of the pictures that we display is two elders that are using a wheelbarrow, and they have to go about 1.5 miles, and they have jugs in their wheelbarrow to be able to haul water for themselves. And so for them to do that, and certainly they both have white hair, and it is certainly a challenge for them. I think it's Jean and Larry. But there's also cost for those that use vehicles. I think the cost for municipalities for 100 gallons of water is 20 to 40 cents. But it's about $13.30 for those that have to haul water. And so there's certainly an economic burden on certainly using the vehicles and travel and that type of cost. Thank you.
And I think that it's not just an economic cost, it's a psychological cost, it's a physical cost. You know, when you talk to families that have to haul water, and there's families even, like I was mentioning to Hajale, that you know, people have to drive 20, 30, sometimes 100 miles to go fill up water tanks just to cook food, just to take a shower, just to have clean drinking water. Like, this is the year 2025, and there are thousands of families in the Navajo Nation that don't have piped water in their homes. And to the extent that the Navajo Nation is willing to have members of this committee visit, I think it would be very impactful, especially as we're working to try to get the water settlement that you all recently approved across the finish line. So I want to just make sure that, you know, when Mr. Witherspoon says that the needs of the Navajo Nation are immense and urgent, like, these are fundamental human rights issues. The fact that we have elderly members of these communities living in very rural areas that don't have piped water in their homes, it should not be a condition of modern life in the United States of the Navajo Nation. The Water Smart program, as you mentioned, Mr. Witherspoon, is just one small tool, but it is an important tool in the arsenal of addressing the immense water infrastructure needs of our tribal communities. And I am hopeful that not only this particular bill, which will waive cost-sharing requirements for specific projects where there's high economic needs of communities, will pass, but that we can also advance the Navajo Nation's water settlement through Congress this year, as well as the other Pueblo settlements that we're trying to get across the finish line. Because I think that if the American people at large really understood what it looks like and what the psychological, spiritual, physical, and just life stress it is to not have adequate water infrastructure, I think that people would really be shocked. And so I'm grateful that you traveled here today to share your testimony, and grateful that the Navajo Nation is supporting this bill. And I want to thank you and the president and also the staff who are behind you for being here today. Thank you.
Thank you.